Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. If you find yourself waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., don't just roll over. Don't complain. And don't waste that moment. That's not just your body waking you up. That's life. That's God. That's the universe giving you a signal. It's saying, I'm trying to get your attention, because those hours are not ordinary hours. They are sacred, quiet, powerful hours. And if you use them right, they can change the whole direction of your life. Waking between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. is a spiritual and mental wake-up call, not a coincidence. When most people experience this, they often treat it as nothing more than a sleep problem, something to complain about or ignore until they drift back to sleep. But there is something far more powerful happening in that moment. It is a time when the world is quiet, distractions are gone, and the noise of the day hasn't yet clouded the mind. This is why so many traditions, faiths, and philosophies see those hours as sacred, because in those still hours, you are more connected to your thoughts, your spirit, and your true self. If you are being woken up in that window, it is not random, it is not meaningless. It is a signal that there's something within you that needs attention. It could be your inner voice trying to guide you. It could be God answering your prayers in a quiet moment, or it could be the universe giving you space to reflect. But no matter what you believe, waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. has a purpose. Think about it this way. During the day, your mind is pulled in 100 different directions. You have responsibilities, conversations, notifications, and endless demands on your attention. It is hard to hear yourself when life is that loud. But at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., there is silence. That silence is not empty, it is full of opportunity. It is the perfect time to hear thoughts you normally ignore. It is the space to finally notice the whispers of intuition that get drowned out when the sun is up. That is why so many great leaders, creators, and visionaries have described early morning hours as the best time for inspiration. Because when the world sleeps, your soul is awake. And when your soul is awake, answers come, clarity comes, strength comes. When you keep brushing it off as just random waking, you miss the chance to grow. You miss the chance to connect. Imagine that every time you are awakened in that window, it is an invitation to pause, to breathe, to check in with yourself. An invitation to ask, what is heavy on my heart? What is keeping me restless? What direction do I need to take? What habit do I need to break? What dream do I need to chase? If you flip the perspective from annoyance to opportunity, everything changes. Instead of fighting it, you welcome it. Instead of rolling back into frustration, you lean into gratitude. You start to see it as your personal audience with life itself, a chance where the stage is clear and you are the only one speaking and being spoken to. It is also important to recognize that waking up at this time can mean your body and mind are aligning to help you reset. Science even shows that these hours are when the body's systems are repairing, when your subconscious is most active, and when your brain is processing emotions. So if you wake up then, it could be because something within you is unsettled and needs to be addressed. This is why treating it as a call to action instead of a burden can change your entire mindset. If your heart is heavy, release it in prayer. If your mind is racing, write down the thoughts. If your spirit feels restless, sit in silence and breathe until you feel calm. The act of listening and responding to this call is what gives it power, and ignoring it only leaves you stuck. When you truly understand that waking up in these hours is not a coincidence, you begin to treat it with respect. You begin to create a ritual around it, whether it is lighting a candle, saying a few words of gratitude, journaling your ideas, or just sitting in stillness. That ritual strengthens your connection with yourself and your creator. It sharpens your focus, and it begins to transform those hours from wasted frustration into powerful guidance. Waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. is a wake-up call for your soul, a reminder that you are being nudged towards something greater. And if you embrace it, you may discover wisdom, peace, and purpose you never thought possible. Use that time for prayer, meditation, or deep reflection, because those quiet hours hold a kind of energy that the rest of the day simply does not. When the sun is still down and the world is hushed, you are not distracted by traffic, conversations, notifications, or responsibilities pulling you in different directions. That silence creates a sacred space where your heart can speak freely and where your mind can align with clarity. Prayer in those hours carries a weight because you are speaking into stillness, and in stillness, your words do not compete with noise. It becomes easier to feel connected to something greater than yourself, to express gratitude, to ask for guidance, to pour out the worries and hopes that you often bury beneath the busyness of your day. There's a power in lifting your voice or even silently speaking from your heart in that moment, because it feels like heaven is listening more closely when the world is asleep. Meditation in that window carries a different kind of strength. It allows you to sit in stillness, not to ask for anything, not to search for anything, but to simply be. When you close your eyes and focus on your breath at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., the calm that fills you is deeper than at any other time of the day. There are no outside distractions, your phone is not buzzing, and your obligations have not yet begun. That's why your mind is more receptive, your thoughts flow more clearly, and you can observe yourself without judgment. Even a few minutes of mindful breathing can reset your energy, reduce stress, and prepare you to face the coming day with more patience and balance. Meditation at that hour becomes a meeting point between your mind and your soul, where both can finally breathe without interruption. Reflection in these early hours is like holding a mirror up to your life. When you sit down with a pen and paper, or even just sit quietly with your thoughts, patterns become clearer. You begin to notice what has been weighing on you, what habits are keeping you stuck, what dreams you keep pushing aside, and what actions you need to take. The truth is that in the middle of the day, you are too busy to really face yourself. But in those hours when the rest of the world is still, you have nowhere to hide from your own reflection. And that is a gift, because it is only when you see yourself honestly that you can begin to grow. Reflection allows you to check in with your purpose, to realign your steps with your values, and to remember what matters most before the noise of the day tries to make you forget. There's a reason so many wise people through history have spoken about the value of the early hours. Monks, poets, entrepreneurs, leaders, and spiritual teachers have all tapped into that window because they understood that the silence of dawn carries a unique kind of wisdom. Prayer in that time builds faith. Meditation builds peace. And reflection builds direction. Together, they transform what could have been a restless night into the most meaningful part of your day. If you only see waking up in those hours as a problem, you will miss the invitation it offers. But if you embrace it as a moment to connect with your Creator, with your soul, and with your own truth, then you will discover that those hours are not an interruption to your rest. They are a secret key to your growth. Plan and visualize your goals when distractions are silent, because this is the perfect moment to bring your dreams into sharper focus and to align your mind with the direction you truly want to go. During the day, you are bombarded with responsibilities, conversations, and endless noise that scatter your attention. But in the early hours when you are awake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the silence becomes a gift. It creates the mental space needed to design the life you want without interference. This is the time when your subconscious is most alert, when your imagination is vivid, and when your thoughts are clearer than usual. By using this period to plan, you are not just organizing tasks, you are programming your mind for success. and telling your life where you intend to go instead of letting the day control you. Visualization is powerful because the mind cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined picture and reality. Athletes use this technique before games, leaders use it before important decisions, and visionaries rely on it to create futures that do not yet exist. When you wake up in these quiet hours, close your eyes and picture yourself achieving the goals you've set. See the details. Feel the emotions. Imagine the steps. If your dream is to build a business, visualize the customers, the product, the energy of success. If your dream is to heal yourself, imagine your body strong, your mind clear, your heart at peace. When you do this consistently, you are training your brain to believe it's possible, and belief is the foundation of every achievement. Planning is equally critical because without a plan, dreams fade into wishful thinking. The hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. are perfect for laying out strategies because there are no interruptions. Write down what you need to accomplish. Prioritize your steps and think about the obstacles that might come and how you will overcome them. Planning in this stillness has a different weight than planning at any other time of day because you are closer to your raw thoughts and less influenced by outside opinions. You are hearing yourself honestly, and that honesty allows you to design steps that are authentic to who you are and what you want. Combining planning and visualization during these sacred hours creates a cycle of belief and action. Visualization fills you with the energy of possibility, while planning gives you the roadmap to turn that possibility into reality. When you wake up in this window and use it to see your future and then map it out, you are literally building tomorrow before the sun even rises. That habit creates momentum. And momentum is what separates those who achieve from those who only dream. Most people waste these moments by rolling over or getting frustrated that they cannot sleep, but the ones who use it intentionally step ahead of everyone else. They are already aligned with their vision while others are still asleep. They have already made their decisions while others are still waking up confused. That is why so many successful people rise earlier than the rest, because they understand the power of starting before the world begins its chaos. When you use this time for planning and visualization, you are not just staying awake, you are staying ahead. This practice also builds confidence because every time you visualize and then act on what you've planned, you see progress. Progress builds faith. Faith builds consistency, and consistency builds results. Over time, your life begins to look like the pictures you created in your mind during those early hours. And that is the proof that this method works. So when you wake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., don't see it as a disturbance. See it as your private meeting with your future. A moment designed for you to shape what's coming next with clarity, strategy, and vision. Move your body gently to activate energy and focus because the hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. are not just for the mind, they are also for the body. When you find yourself awake in this window, your body may feel heavy, sluggish, or restless, but that is an opportunity to shift your energy. Gentle movement allows blood to flow, muscles to loosen, and your entire system to awaken gradually. It does not need to be an intense workout. It can be as simple as stretching your arms, rolling your shoulders, or standing and taking slow, deep breaths while reaching toward the sky. These small physical actions signal to your body that it's time to wake up and align with your mind. By doing this, you create harmony between the physical and the mental, making it easier to focus, reflect, or pray with more clarity and strength. The beauty of gentle movement at this time is that it prepares you for the day ahead without draining your energy. Too often, people underestimate the connection between the body and the mind, but when you activate your body, even in the smallest ways, you activate the brain as well. Circulation improves, oxygen flows more freely, and your thoughts become sharper. A few stretches or light movements can clear away the grogginess and open the door to creativity, focus, and alertness. It transforms those hours from being a moment of fatigue into a time of renewal. Movement can also be meditative when done with intention. Imagine yourself slowly bending, stretching, or walking while focusing on your breath, feeling each muscle release tension. This not only awakens your body, but also grounds your spirit. Many people who practice early morning yoga or Tai Chi understand the power of this rhythm because it combines movement with stillness, strength with calm, and energy with focus. By moving your body during this sacred time, you create a ritual that connects the physical with the spiritual, preparing you to face the challenges of the day with balance and calm. Another powerful aspect of moving your body in these early hours is that it reminds you that you are alive, strong, and capable. Too often we wake up and immediately rush into obligations, forgetting to acknowledge the gift of our body and its ability to carry us through the day. Taking just a few minutes to move allows you to honor that gift. It is like telling yourself, I am awake, I am here, I am ready. This affirmation through action is as powerful as words spoken out loud. The body and mind respond when you treat them with care, and in return, they give you the focus and energy you need to accomplish more. Gentle movement can also help release the emotions or stress that may have caused you to wake up in the first place. Many times when people wake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., it is because something is unsettled within them. The body stores tension, stress, and worry, and those feelings can interrupt rest. By moving, stretching, and breathing deeply, you release that tension and calm your nervous system. This creates a sense of peace that allows you to think clearly, pray deeply, or even return to sleep with a lighter heart. It's not about forcing energy, but about allowing energy to flow naturally through you. When you build this habit, waking up in these hours no longer feels like a curse, but like an invitation to reconnect with your body. It becomes a moment to reset physically and mentally, to shake off heaviness, and to awaken gently into purpose. Moving your body at that time is not about exercise in the traditional sense. It is about activating your inner strength, clearing away the fog, and setting a tone for a day filled with energy and focus. Speak affirmations to set the tone for the entire day, because the words you say to yourself in those early hours shape your mindset and direct your energy before the world has the chance to influence you. When you wake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., your subconscious mind is more open and receptive than it is at any other time of day, which makes it the perfect moment to feed it with positivity, strength, and confidence. If the first thoughts you allow into your mind are full of worry, fear, or doubt, that energy will follow you throughout the day. But if you deliberately choose to speak affirmations of faith, hope, and self-belief, you create a foundation that nothing can easily shake. The words you repeat to yourself in stillness become the quiet power behind your actions, and they carry you when challenges arise later in the day. Affirmations are not just empty sentences. They are commands you give to your mind, and your mind listens closely in the silence of those hours. When you say, I am strong, I am capable, or I am worthy, you are not just making noise, you are instructing your brain to accept these truths. Over time, your brain begins to rewire itself around those statements, and you start to behave in ways that match the words you have spoken. This is why so many successful people rely on affirmations, because they understand that the mind must be programmed with intention if you want to rise above negativity and doubt. Using this time to speak affirmations also helps you fight back against the hidden voices of insecurity that often wake you up in the middle of the night. Those early hours can sometimes bring worry, regrets, or overthinking. But affirmations are a tool to silence those voices and replace them with strength. Instead of lying awake consumed by fear, you can stand or sit in stillness and declare what you believe about yourself and your future. Even if you don't fully feel it yet, speaking affirmations plants seeds that eventually grow into confidence and courage. When you make this a habit, you begin to notice the shift. Imagine waking up at 3:30 a.m. and saying, today I will be productive. I will attract opportunities. I will treat myself with kindness, and I will overcome any challenge that comes my way. By the time the sun rises, your spirit is already aligned with that belief, and you approach your day differently. Instead of reacting to problems with frustration, you remember your words and act with resilience. Instead of doubting yourself in moments of decision, you recall the strength you declared earlier, and it carries you forward. Affirmations spoken in those hours are not about ignoring reality. They are about preparing yourself to handle reality with power and clarity. Another important aspect of affirmations is gratitude. When you wake in that window, speak words of thanks for what you already have and for the blessings yet to come. Saying, I am grateful for this breath. I am grateful for my growth. I am grateful for the opportunities waiting for me. Shifts your focus from what is missing to what is abundant. Gratitude affirms that your life is already meaningful, and that energy attracts even more reasons to be thankful. The more consistently you practice affirmations during those early hours, the stronger your mindset becomes. They turn into anchors that hold you steady when storms come. They remind you of your worth when you feel overlooked, and they push you forward when you're tempted to give up. Speaking affirmations at that sacred time is not just a routine. It is a declaration that you choose faith over fear, possibility over limitation, and strength over weakness. Treat those hours as sacred moments of guidance, not interruptions, because the way you frame them in your mind determines the power they will hold in your life. When you wake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., it is easy to get frustrated, to see it as lost sleep or a disturbance to your rest. But if you shift your perspective and treat it as a divine appointment, a rare moment of silence and clarity, you will discover a deeper meaning. These hours are some of the quietest on earth, and that stillness is not accidental. In that stillness, your spirit is more open, your intuition is sharper, and your heart is more willing to listen. It is in these hours that guidance comes through. Not in the noise of the day, but in the whisper of the night. And if you treat it with reverence, you will begin to see those wake-ups as blessings rather than burdens. Think of it this way. During the day, you are surrounded by voices, opinions, and distractions pulling you in every direction. It becomes difficult to hear your own inner voice, let alone the voice of God or the quiet nudges of intuition. But in the early hours, everything is still. And in that stillness, guidance becomes louder. You might feel ideas flowing that never appeared during the chaos of the day, or solutions to problems you've been carrying suddenly become clear. This is why so many spiritual leaders, thinkers, and creators have honored those hours, because they understood that the world cannot speak over them when the world is asleep. When you treat this time as sacred, you create space for direction and purpose to flow into your life. Instead of tossing and turning with frustration, you sit in gratitude and openness, ready to receive. You might pray, meditate, or simply sit quietly and listen, but the key is to approach it with respect. Guidance often comes in ways we don't expect, through a sudden thought, a calming peace, or even a conviction that pushes us to make a change. By recognizing the sacredness of those moments, you train yourself to pay attention to those whispers and to act on them. It's also important to understand that guidance is not always about big revelations or dramatic changes. Sometimes it is as simple as realizing you need to forgive someone, or that you should start a project you've been delaying, or that you need to take better care of your health. These small insights received in the quiet of those hours can redirect the course of your life in powerful ways. But if you keep treating those hours as interruptions, you miss the opportunity to receive them. Approaching those wake-ups as sacred also builds a habit of presence. You begin to value silence, to look forward to those moments, and to see them as a gift. That mindset shifts how you live your entire day. Because when you start the morning in guidance and peace, you carry that energy into everything you do. Decisions become clearer, stress feels lighter, and your sense of direction becomes stronger. Over time, treating these hours as sacred creates a deeper connection with yourself and with God. You begin to trust that you are being guided, that you are not waking up by accident, but by purpose. Instead of asking, why am I awake? You begin to ask, what am I meant to learn right now? That one shift transforms your entire experience, and the interruptions become instructions, the restlessness becomes revelation, and the wake-ups become wisdom.